Hi everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really fun card. Now, just a note, you could totally make this a Christmas card, okay? Don't even really have to change the colors. You could just use a Christmas sentiment. You could also make this a birthday card, a thank you after Christmas, so many things. A manly card, a manly birthday card. Lots of different things you could do with it. And I used just a little scrap that I cut off for the inside there because I thought it was cute. So just to add a little something to it. You could have also embossed this little extra piece here of, I want to say evening evergreen, early espresso, but really kind of just make what you want. This is not my card idea. I did see a very similar layout, but then I kind of took it and put my own spin on it. So a couple things I used. I don't remember what this is called. This is actually a 2-pack, this embossing folder. It also has a pack that is, or a folder that is snowflakes. So I use the pine bows, I believe it is, for this. But if you don't happen to have that, you could also use the gingham. I think would give enough texture to it, which would be kind of cool. And then you can emboss all 3 of your pieces. This is shaded spruce. So soft sea foam, and then I used evening evergreen. I have a different combo for this one, but we're going to pretty much use the same ink. The classic matte dots I used here to just add a little something. And then this uses the Christmas season stamp set. This does also have a coordinating die, which is a fabulous bundle. Great bundle. I'm going to show you a couple tips for this because originally I stamped them, and I'm going to show you how I did it the wrong way. Not really wrong, but it's easier to do it the other way. I also used Knit Together, and that is stamped onto the background here, as you can see. So that's a little fun. You could skip that if you wanted to. And then this is one of those sets that's half and half. So the stamps carried over. The inspired dies, which are awesome, didn't, but maybe you still have these. You could use them for something. They're great. Love these trees, especially if you're doing a colorful black background and either black or brown for the trees. It's really cool. But Inspired Thoughts is the stamp set. And then Christmas Season. So I'm going to show you some things. Now, I may use a couple pieces of these. I also was going to originally use Mossy Meadow, but it didn't really coordinate as much as I thought it would, even though I did use Mossy Meadow ink. So you can kind of be a little bit, what's a good word to use? Flexible, flim-flam, do what you want to do for that. So I'm going to show you how to get started. First of all, we're going to do the stamping first. So we have a base of Early Espresso, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to put that on the side. This is for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of Early Espresso and a piece of Basic White. So this measures 2 by 5. This is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. This is just for the little whatever sentiment we're going to use. I don't really know which one we're going to do yet, so that's just a little extra piece. And then I have 3 strips of cardstock, and there's another one here because I did not, oh, here it is. Didn't use all the same. I just kind of grabbed 3 pieces. Soft Sea Foam, Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen is what I went with for this one. So we also have Soft Sea Foam, Mossy Meadow. We could certainly bring out Evening Evergreen instead. We'll switch that out and see what it looks like compared to the Mossy Meadow. And I have these in the wrong spot. Sorry, throwing myself off. You also are going to need Early Espresso, which I just re-inked, and Soft Suede. Now, for this one, I'm going to show you what I did here. I added these little dots, but they really didn't do anything for me. I also added them on this one, but I really didn't think they were kind of make or break. Maybe if the dots were a little bit tinier, there are these little dots here. They look a little tinier here, or maybe doing them in espresso would be better. So maybe we'll try that and see what that looks like. But I'm not still decided whether or not we're going to do that. But let me move these over. Sorry, I went on the trip. We had such a wonderful time, but I still have these nails on and I cannot pick up squat. So I do apologize. It's taking me a lot longer to get things than I think it's going to take. So normally when you are doing some stamping, a lot of times, now this is just me personally, I will end up starting with the larger image. So for example, the main difference here is this one uses the large pine cones, and this one I just use the small. So I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to do small and large, but I'm going to do them differently. So I have my large, or my small, and then my large. And this is not the detail image, okay? This is the background image. And I'm trying to think, which way did I do first? I'm going to do it the other way because I almost did it again. So I'm going to do the detail image first for the large one and the small one. Let me move these over so I don't botch this up. And then we are going to need, I used both of these. So I'm just going to pop these. One and, oh, the printer just woke up. That's interesting. Two. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this off of here just for a minute. It's the background. All right, so have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our foreground image, which is going to be darker, okay? So we're going to do early espresso. So we're just kind of using this as a guide. Do this up here. And got a little smudges already. I want larger images and smaller, so I'm going to do the larger first. Doesn't necessarily have to be all the way on. And let's see. One. And I was thinking what I might do instead of having this pop-up piece, I might put the sentiment down here. So if that's the case, I should really put it on now before I get carried away. And I do have a bit of a cold, so I apologize if I cough. I wonder if that's going to fit. Well, only one way to find out. Let's try it. All right. See if we can get this on here. I feel like it's just barely going to fit if it fits. Ah, well, that worked. Okay. So that was a squeeze. I probably would have liked to have scented it a little bit better if I had the chance, but we're going to stick with what we have there. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my soft suede. And I do need to swap out for this one. Let me just get my... So before, excuse me, before we left for the cruise, we had really good fun. Christian was really super duper surprised. He didn't find out until we picked up our baggage from the baggage carousel in Miami, which was pretty awesome that we were able to keep the secret for as long as we did. But the kids in my class, you guys remember I am in preschool, they all had some sort of cough or something, and might need to hit a cough drop here, and they were all some sort of slight sick, and I was going to wear a mask, but I was like, nah, it's gonna be okay. I stayed away from them, and apparently, as you all know, germs move. So I'm over here searching for a cough drop, which I can't find. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit less because I can't find one and I don't want to stop and go downstairs. So, long story short, they got me sick. It's my own fault though, because I was going to wear a mask and I didn't. So, there you go. All right, so I re-inked, as you can see, the difference from these. I re-inked my stamps because they were a little dry. So I'm not sure if I want to do this one a full inking or off, but I'm going to try. So what you want to do with this, my whole point about this whole situation is, normally you would stamp your background and then do your detail, but it actually works better to do it opposite for this. So this is my smaller one because you can see, and I feel like it lines up better. Okay, this one's still a teeny bit off, but I was able to line it up better if I could see, versus this one turned out really well, versus this one here where I had these big white gaps. So I'm going to go down here again once more. Now, if you still can't line it up correctly, which I still didn't do on that one very well, I'm going to show you something else you can do, but you want to go, I think you want to go a little higher than you think you are. Think you should be, I guess. That's better. So wherever you are, just go up or down just a little bit so you're not necessarily fitting in with those pieces. There we go. That does look better. Okay, now one other thing you can do. So you stamp this and you're still not super happy. I probably should have stamped off with that soft suede because it was a teeny bit dark, but that's okay, no biggie. So if you stamp this and it's still just not exactly what you want it to be, you can also always come in with a dead or a close to empty Wink of Stella pen or just your watercolor pen. And while everything is still wet, so you've recently inked, just kind of spread your ink around. Gives you kind of twofold. It'll have a little bit of sparkle, but it also will just fill in a little bit of that gap of color, or the kind of the bright white gap, I guess we should say. There's that. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to completely avoid the sentiment because I don't want to smudge any of that, because that actually lined up fairly well considering. You kind of even bring it just to the edge a little bit, so you have like that halo of color. So we cruised out of Miami. We had a wonderful time. The weather was really nice. We did have a little bit of rain, but we were going with the motto of a bad day on vacation is better than a good day at work. And it's not that I have a bad job, so please don't think that, but we haven't been on a vacation in very, 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 very long time. So it was really super nice. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the pine. I guess this is pine. Yeah, pine bows. I'm going to go with bows again. I'm going to stamp that. And I really like, I did this in garden green. I did it in mossy. I'm going to do soft seafoam with the single bow. Just put a couple of them in. Oh, poor Jack is utterly bored by my stamping conversation. He's over here sighing, and I think he's actually snoring. All right, there's that one. So that's just a couple in soft seafoam. And I feel like, I think I did these in garden green. Oh, God bless him. He's wagging his tail in his sleep. He's probably so happy we're home. I'm going to do these in evening evergreen. It's definitely a little bit darker, but not saying that I don't like it. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to bring this one in this way. And you really can go kind of either direction. I want this one stamped off so I can have a little something down here, but I just don't want it to be too dark that it takes over the thank you. I feel like I need a single one over here. And just a little something here. Looks cute. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Now, I am going to, see, I don't feel like those dots are really going to give it anything. Because they do look cute, but they're not really making or breaking anything. Let me see if I can do, if I do the dots in something with lighter work, with darker work. How about if we try crumb cake? We'll just see. Yeah, they're just, I don't say they're really taking away from the card, but they're not adding to it like I guess I thought that they would. I think it's just the size of the dot is just a little bit too large. And almost, honestly, because I did all the stamping down here, my sentiment does kind of get lost. So I think I may actually redo that. And I'm going to do it. Do I still have it over here? Did I put it back? Nope, I put it back. I'm going to do it in Evening Evergreen. I'm going to just use this little scrap here. Okay, that worked out well. And then I'm just going to trim it and lay it on top. Probably pop it up on a dimensional or something. But basically, that's really it. I am going to leave the inside blank just because I don't really know what I'm going to use it for. And honestly, I almost wish this one had some sort of a birthday sentiment. because I love the font that these are in. Ooh, and I almost forgot this. We're going to do our knit together. I actually already have that mounted. So let me just set this off to the side to dry. I can use this. I will make another card for sure for that one. And let's bring this over. So what I did was I actually had cut this just a little bit too big when I did the first test, which is how I came up with that little strip that went across there. So I won't have that for this one, but you could still swing it if you wanted to. Just move these to the side. All right, so I have my base card. And what we're gonna do is I already have this mounted on my Stamparatus. And I'm just kind of lining this up with where I made my prior card. Just about like so. Let's see. Nope, just a little bit more down. There we go. And I'm just going to ink this with Early Espresso. I just inked this up, like I said, so it should be nice and juicy. Now, if you want to get a better inking, you'd be smarter to put a ink pad under it because it'll just give you more even pressure. And you can tell just from that. All right, so we're going to move this over. Just going to close the hinge. Just give this a nice press all over. Lift it up. There's a couple spots we missed. Now remember, you are going to cover some of this up, so you don't need it to be 100% perfect. That looks cute. And this definitely is going to need a moment to dry. So we will begin assembling the rest while we wait for that to dry. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you one other thing while we're waiting for this to finish, is I'm going to put a couple of these pieces. These are just random pieces. And I find that if you cut them about an inch and a quarter, and this one's just slightly off, they will all fit on there. So I'm going to just run this through my die cut machine. And I believe I'm going to do it like this. So I have my blue plate still using my Big Shot, regular Big Shot platform. And you want to face it so the bend of the folder goes in. Okay, so we have our 3 embossed pieces. So you could use either the embossed or the debossed side, your choice. And we're just going to kind of line these up and see what we want to do. I'm going to take this in the meantime while we're waiting for this to dry. Just get some liquid glue, my panel. Oops. Yeah, that would have been really cute, but it's lost down there in all this stuff. So I feel like adding that extra little trimmed piece on top is going to really work out. Also, I think maybe changing the color might be good as well. We're just going to trim right along the top of this. There's snips. And I'm even going to leave, I know there's a little bit of a line under here, but I'm going to leave it like that just so there's enough of a distinction that you can tell. And let me grab, I feel like one of these slim sheets right here on the end. Yep, should fit that pretty well. So I'm just going to take my snips and just trim. It's probably about enough, right? Yep. So I'm going to just take this off and then put my sentiment on. Okay, we'll leave that there so I know. That way also it doesn't get stuck to anything else. All right. Probably still a little bit wet. And then just hit this with my bone folder. Okay, and then we just have to kind of decide our layout. Like that. I a little wider one in the middle. And then this one down here doesn't really need too much. We're going to lay this on top. So I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue these down. And what we'll do is we'll trim off our excess. Just like so. And I actually have had this stamp set since Stampin' Die set from last year. This was in the holiday catalog last year. And I'm really grateful that it carried over because it's a really nice Stampin' Die set, but it's also super versatile for so many different things. All right, so I'm just going to grab my yucky scissors since I know there's a little glue on here. All right, so that just trimmed those 3 things off. And then we're going to put this on. And I think I'm actually going to put these on with some dimensionals. So this is actually one of the cards we will be making because I'm filming this ahead of time at Club this month. And the nice part about this, as I said, is you could use this for thank you, for holiday. You could change it into a holiday card if you wanted to. So it's super versatile. And I really do like this layout. All right, and then the only other thing, where is it? I'm just going to pick up my sentiment. Lift that up. We're going to just set that right. Oh, that's a little bit off. Right on top. There we go. Now, I was able to save this because I didn't press down. But one thing to note, if you're going to put something on with dimensionals and you're not sure about it, what you can do is actually take a little bit of your liquid glue and put it on top. And it will give you the mobility of liquid glue, but with dimension added to it, which is really fun. And finally, I'm going to add my dots. And the only thing I took my take your pick tool downstairs because I was making the paper pumpkin this month, which if you didn't get it is freaking adorable. You will love it if you're into Christmas stuff. It's really, really cute. It's 3 Santa cards. I'm sure you've seen it somewhere, but it's really adorable. So I did that one. I did also, I have to show you guys a little video of the one with the tags. I'm just looking for my other tool. It's usually right here. I did the Christmas tags, which was really, really simple to make as well. I like that one a lot. So there's lots of fun stuff to do. And just for something different, because sometimes it's hard to decide when you're doing something. Oh, come on, you little bugger. I'm going to do these with black. Because the club, the club ladies may go to something different if they see me use it. I know sometimes it's hard to visualize something if you see it and you don't really want to commit to it. Come on, you little bugger. This side is definitely one that I used way more. This was a great tool until it lost its stick. Then I was kind of like, eh. All right, that's kind of a isosceles triangle, but you get the point there. So you want things to be in 3s. Now, I will tell you, I don't really know if I prefer one versus the other with this, with the layering behind it. So I don't really know. I might have to put both of them in there. But then the other thing we're going to do is just add in our little... Oh, you know what I could do just since I have this piece here? And I'm just going to layer this little piece. I know it doesn't really necessarily match, but we're going to put this on here first. And then I'll just trim this. It was just me, buddy. It's okay. Jack sounds like he's wrapping up a package down there. It's really just him rolling around near my orders. All right, so I'm just going to take this little scrap piece. Same thing again. Just going to trim this off. And there we go. I'm just going to put some glue here. and then add this to the inside. So you kind of have a little bit of something extra. Again, you could emboss a bunch of these and then just add this to it as you went. But here is our other version. So let me know which one you prefer. I mean, everything is different. Nothing has to be the same, which is one of the coolest parts about when you're making something like this. You can totally change it up depending on what you want to do. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm just going to make this into a card. Granted, this one was my test piece because I wasn't sure how wide I wanted it to be and how tall. And also I wanted to see about the stamping, but as you can see, definitely stamping the solid image and then, stamping the detailed image and then adding the solid gives a little bit to it. But once again, even though this ink is dry, what you can do is if you have a dead marker, which I usually call my empty Wink of Stella pen set, you can still kind of blend because it will reactivate your ink. You can blend and lose those white spots, but I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys this prior to actually fixing it. So you can kind of just blend in your inks, get rid of all those white spaces. You just want to be careful when you've used a Wink of Stella pen in this way that you wipe it off before you go to a lighter color because it will transfer the dark ink to light. So just going back, and then I can make this one into a card as well. The other thing you could do, which I did when this one, I did put the sparkle pen on this in a couple areas, but you could put it on your little pine boughs, and yeah, see, I've got a little brown in there. These are pine boughs that are slowly croaking. There you go. But anyway, you'll notice when you do clean your pen off that you will have brown until it's clear. So it's always a good idea. Those and the blender pens, just to clean them off a little bit. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this card. Really simple, great card to use maybe for some of your winter sets that you don't know what to do with if you found this video and it's after Christmas, or if you need some Christmas thank you cards. Also a great way to use that. Use some of your more wintry stuff, not in a wintry manner. I know sometimes once we get to January, they just go straight to Valentine's Day, but still, it's technically winter, so you still could have any of these type of cards. I think they'd be really, really pretty. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you learned something from this. If you'd like to get any of these supplies and more, you can go to my online store 24/7, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. We have lots of great specials coming up, lots of new things popping out, shopping specials, buying specials. There's so many great kits, but they don't put the kits in the catalog any longer. So just one thing to note is if you go to my online store and you click kits, it'll show you all the current kits, which is great because it's not taking up space in the catalog, for one. And number two, if there's something new there, which also the birthday organizer calendar is in there, which is another cool thing that I bought recently. It's got spaces for you to put dates in, but all of those updated kits are in there, so you don't have to worry about either not being able to find what it is in the catalog, but also it helps them with keeping things more up to date, which I think is really a great idea. So I want to thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment on something else that you'd like to see made in a future card. And if you have a friend you think would enjoy this video, I would love for you to share it with them. All you have to do is click the button below, subscribe, click the bell to turn on notifications, and then there's also a share button. You can share via email, you can text it to someone. If you are on an iDevice and someone's in your contact list, you can just pop the message over to them in Messenger. It's super duper easy to share. And those are all ways that you can support my channel for 100% free. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.